As we kind of move into this holiday season, guys, and look forward to 2018, I'm really going to start to be aggressive on really trying to provide you guys everything in my power that can make you that much more financially successful. I'm going to give you tools that you can take away from this channel and you can deploy in your own lives. A lot of the intent of this channel is to identify a lot of different segments that you guys can take for action and look at independently with the goal of empowering yourself to make some financial decisions on your own. A lot of what I'm finding in conversing with my audience is that I think a lot of people expect from me to be the source of information. And although I do not mind giving my opinion with regard to how I go about employing my own financial plan, the goal on this channel really is to give you guys the tools to search out and find that information on your own. And there's a reason for that. If you can search out information on your own and you can make those validations on your own, it's going to make you that much more empowered. It's going to make you that much more hungry for information. And I think it stops and ends for me where I can just show you where some of those resources are and where to put some of your attention. I think when I watch some other channels, I think the only thing that I get out of it really is to just go buy a stock, go buy NVIDIA, and then what? Is there any type of preparation? Is there any type of tax implication? Is there any type of understanding of as to what typical or type of account that particular stock purchase needs to go in? Is it the right time to be buying stock? I think you guys will understand, and I've spoke about it from the beginning of this channel. Fundamental investing building takes a lot of time, okay? It's not going to be one of those things where you search out information and you've got it right away and you understand it. It's going to be one of those things to where it's an evolving process. And not everything that I'm going to say is going to resonate with you guys. But if I say one thing that kind of perks your curiosity, take it for action, all right? Be willing to evolve in your own thought processes and how you approach not only your financial life, but life in general. Guys, welcome to the Independent Investor Channel. My name is Ryan. We're coming to you from New York City, New York, the Big Apple. This video is going to be called Cash is King, and I talked about a fundamental route of preparing to enter into the market. A common theme that I can tell you guys about when I was dealing with financial planners in my particular financial evolution of becoming an independent, self-directed investor was that they always undervalued the prospect of having cash on the sideline. Now, I'm not talking about emergency cash. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about cash that you could take and deploy under their envelope. Why is that? Why is that? It's because their job is to bring in as much cash as they possibly can. If you were to go and sit down with a financial planner right now with this market, the way that it is, they're going to tell you one thing and one thing only, and that's to stay long, stay long, stay long. The last thing that they want you to do is to be safeguarding 30% of your cash. That's the last thing that they want to do. The last thing they want to do is start a chain reaction of folks removing cash from their particular brokerage house. They don't get paid on cash on the sideline, okay? Now, what benefit is it to you, all right? Cash is king is really, really important, and I challenged a lot of you guys to test your own ability to save maybe $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. And if you guys are first tuning into the Independent Investor Channel, I highly recommend for you guys to start there. Don't look at my stock recommendations and just go buy a couple stocks that I recommend. You're not going to find any value in the information or the message that I'm trying to put across, in that we have to have a foundation built before we enter into the market. And one of the first aspects of the cash is king is security. I'm not going to recommend information to you guys that's going to keep you up at night. All right? I'm not going to take every last hard-earned dollar that you've earned and recommend that you go buy Amazon or NVIDIA, right? We're not going to put you into single stock allocation right away. We're not going to do that. Now, I acknowledge that there's a few folks out there that are in those particular phases of what I talk about in the evolution of going from a beginning investor to more of an advanced trader. But be honest with your own capability about what you want, all right? And I'm very, very careful that the information that I put across from you guys allows you guys to work toward financial security, okay? Furthermore, if you have a cash reserve and you prove to yourself that you have the ability to save money in a savings account or a brokerage account for starters, all right, you're going to be able to sleep well at night knowing that you've passed this one milestone in the evolution of becoming an investor, all right? So financial security is something that we're striving for going forward, and to test your own capability to save that cash. A lot of the worst mistakes that I ever made when I was a beginning investor is I just wanted to invest every dollar that I had, guys, and that is not the right approach. It's not. Right now, I'm actually 60% assets and 40% cash right now with this particular market where in its current state, all right? Cash is king for home ownership, and if you deploy this technique that I'm talking about, you know, identifying in your own personal budgets 25, 50, 100, 100 and a half, 200 and so on dollars per month or bi-monthly, whatever it is that you want to do to safeguard that money and put it aside, it's really going to set you guys up for eventually buying a home, okay? A lot of you guys that may watch the Independent Investor channel, you may never buy a stock in your life, and that's totally fine. The other asset that I talk about, that it's an appreciating asset that everybody needs, is either home ownership or rentership, okay? Now, having a nice cash reserve put away is going to help you with your applications going forward, as they're going to vet those as criteria for your capability to take on a mortgage, okay? So I'm challenging you guys to test your own capability in getting that nest egg put away. And it's relative for everybody. If you say, Ryan, I can do 25,000, or if I can do 50,000, by all means do that, okay? Get to that point where you're going to start to feel comfortable earmarking a certain piece of that savings, and that's when we're going to start deploying those investment funds. And now's a perfect time to start building cash reserves. With the market at an all-time high, I'm not recommending that people take large sums of money and throw them at this market, all right? And the last thing, just what I alluded to, is it sets you up to become an investor, all right? So many times, and I'm finding this out more often than not, and it's the same mistake that I made, is that you tend to get a little bit overzealous, okay? When you want to start investing and you want to jump into single stock allocation, and you really haven't identified what your inflows and outflows are, and so you own 10 shares of Apple over here, but then you have a shortfall over here in your budget that you can't buy groceries one particular month, or you're coming up short on your gasoline bill, you know? And so you kind of understand my point a little bit, is that if you take it in succession, okay, and you identify that cash really is king. We don't need to be buying gold and silver right away. We don't need to be buying assets. We don't need to be buying bonds. We don't need to be buying stocks. We need to be saving that cash reserve, all right? And I challenge everyone out there to heed my message, okay? If you were to have a New Year's resolution coming up for 2018, that would be my message for you guys. With the market at an all-time high, it is a perfect time right now to start testing your ability to save those hard-earned dollars. And that way, if we get a downturn of 20, 30, maybe even 40% in this market, perhaps we can start scaling some of that money back into the market and starting to enjoy some appreciation going forward. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this version of Cash is King. I mean it. It can be a starting point for anybody, any new investor that's looking to build that solid foundation that I'm talking about. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, please subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified of any future videos. Leave your commentary at the bottom. I respond in depth to every single one of my viewers. It's really the least that I could do for you guys in showing my appreciation for your viewership, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and good luck in your investment future.